What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Pod Snipe Celly. My name is Dan Bradley. Alongside me tonight, as always, Joel Fernino. Joel, it has been a minute, buddy.
It has been a couple of minutes. Welcome back. We missed you. Not you. We missed everybody else.
Absolutely. In fact, you and I in person got to miss our audience here a little bit. For those who didn't know, last week being Thanksgiving, some good times there. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh, yes.
But before that, bachelor party, which Joel was responsible in helping plan my bachelor party. Getting married in April, but this was the week that we could get most of the guys together to do stuff. So that was just an absolutely phenomenal weekend. Joel, again, thank you so much to all the work you, HP, everybody did in putting all that together. It was phenomenal.
Hey, man, you deserved it more than we can say into words. HP was so clutch in doing it. I mean, yes, I helped, but HP did a lot of that heavy lifting and a lot of the heavy monetary lifting by putting his card down on a lot of things to make sure we could do stuff like your surprise of the VIP box for the Wild game.
That was unbelievable. We were in a suite for the Wild game against the San Jose Sharks. It was I have never experienced anything like that in my life. We were right on the goal line, getting to watch, and just absolutely perfect vantage point. So much fun. Really, that was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life.
Hell yeah, man. We got to HP built your cup. We got God knows how many drunk people to sign it. All of there is on
I had this one ready to go.
And if it looked to the top,
made the Stanley Cup for me here. We carry that with us most of the weekend. And then if you look at the bowl on the top there, a couple signatures there that stand out. We got Nordy, the Wild mascot, to sign it. Tom Reed, who played for both of our clubs. He was with the Blackhawks, he's with the North Stars, and then owns a restaurant that is right down the block from the XL Energy Center. So we got Tom Reed to sign it. He was at the restaurant while we were watching the Vikings game prior to the Wild game. And then the signature right next to those two is Minnesota Wild general manager Bill Guerin.
That was huge.
Billy G signing the cup. That was the coolest thing. I was.
You did that yourself too.
Words.
You did that yourself.
Phenomenal. Jesse Bell checking in, fellas.
Jesse,
Vince, having Vince make him a custom cup. Yeah, it's so cool. It was a blast taking that everywhere, and people kind of looking at it funny. And Bill Guerin, when I was walking up to get him to sign it, he looks at that and goes, "Well, that's pretty freaking cool."
Yeah, that was badass. I was very honored to get completely shat on by Tom Reed, even though I was wearing a Blackhawks. I was wearing a Blackhawks jersey. I'm like, come on, man, you played for them first.
He did, and then he realized the errors of his ways, and he signed with the North Stars. And the best part was
the team that doesn't exist anymore.
He looks at me and looks at Joel, and then he goes, "So do you have to talk slower when this guy's around, being from Chicago?" I said, "Like you wouldn't believe."
He enjoyed my ditka sausage.
Yeah, you did that, and he was right back on board. He loved you. He was glad we were there. It was so cool. We had to talk about that. Also, want to talk about, Joel, how was your Thanksgiving as well? Happy Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah, happy Thanksgiving, and we could put a bow on your bachelor party with cheers to you and Michelle getting married. And yes, that is beer to anybody watching. It's Spotted Cow, actually.
Ooh, there you go. Getting some of the good stuff.
On my unexpected drive back from your bachelor party trip in Minnesota, I stopped at a gas station and, of course, picked some up.
Was it at least a quick trip?
I see what you did there with the pun, but also, yes, I stopped at, I think, 2 quick trips.
I wasn't even going. I wasn't even going for a pun. I missed quick trips. Living in Cincinnati, we don't have quick trips out here.
I made it a point to stop at a quick trip because we don't have them in Illinois either, but we're closer to Wisconsin, who does have them, obviously. So that's one of the good things about Wisconsin. But anyway, Thanksgiving was great. I got to spend some time with my mom and some family as well. My mom cooked a plethora of things that are now in my fridge that I will have for dinner after we go off the air. And ate too much as usual. Gave our buddy Ryan his PS5 that I was able to snag for him.
There you go.
Don't worry, I'll try and snag you one too, but he had dibs first.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, how about yours?
This might be a hot take. I like Thanksgiving leftovers even more than I like actual Thanksgiving Day. Because I feel like, especially if you're the one cooking it, like you put so much into the work of that day that it's almost just like, finally I get to eat, I get to relax. And you're just like, you're stuffing it in your gullet and leaving it at that. But then the next day, especially like you get the flavors to kind of mingle a little bit more, and you're combining everything onto your plate for the leftovers. Definitely prefer the leftovers as well. Make them into a sandwich.
I guess
the giant sandwich.
This is probably a hot take, or not hot take, but I guess hot fact. I've never actually done that.
You've never made it into a sandwich?
I'm always just on the plate, wrap it, basically like recreating what was on my plate on actual Thanksgiving Day, and then just tossing it either if I got to do it in a pinch in the microwave, but if I have a little extra time, I'll probably toss it in the oven. But I've never actually made the sandwich before.
Yeah, do it in the sandwich and then heat up the gravy, and you can like dunk the sandwich in the gravy. Oh, it's
that reminds me of another Thanksgiving hot take I have, and that's I am anti-gravy.
This guy. Okay, now we're getting into hot take territory here. Not a gravy guy?
Probably the biggest hot take of our 2022 episode. Yeah, I am not a gravy guy. Not that I don't like it, nor do I not see its use. I just think it takes away from the flavor of the potatoes or of some people put it on their stuffing. And another hot take of it, and I know most of it is like you put it on your turkey to, moisten it up a bit, right? Well, my thing is if the turkey is cooked to perfection, like I assume most people cook it to, you shouldn't need gravy in the first place.
Well, and if you brine it as well the night before, you don't really need to worry about moistening up the turkey because
exactly
it's already got all of that. Jesse's with you on the gravy too.
Jesse, that surprises me. I was able to actually meet Jesse virtually yesterday.
Yeah, you guys, we should break that news here as well. That starting tomorrow night, first episode of Center Ice, you and Jesse.
Tomorrow night or next week, we're still deciding.
Okay,
but we did record a lot of shit yesterday. So
we've got HP chiming in as well. Would like to quick shout out Tom's Watch Bar. Yes, Tom's Watch Bar was
absolutely
Murray's Steakhouse, phenomenal. That was the best meal in a very long time. And then I had Thanksgiving the week after, so just even better. MC Sweets downtown in Minneapolis, yeah, and Lions Pub, all the wonderful hospitality that weekend. I don't think we met like a bad person. Like nobody was like in a bad mood or anything the entire weekend that we were there. Didn't matter where we went.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny. I just brought this up over Thanksgiving. I forgot who I was talking to about it, but I was like, as much as from the sports perspective, I like to shit on places like Wisconsin, but like Minnesota, I like to shit on them all the time from a sports perspective. From a people perspective, Minnesota has the nicest people I have ever met in any state I have ever been to. That is, and it's held true. I've been there a couple times now. Like
we do until you live there long enough, and then it turns from Minnesota nice into Minnesota passive aggressive.
I respect the passive aggressiveness, though. That's probably why I like it.
Yeah, it makes things entertaining for sure. Well, we got to get back into hockey here, and what better way to kind of get back into things here than with one of our favorite games we like to do on the show, Contender or Pretender.
Oh yes,
so we are just about to the quarter pole of the season. So we got a couple of teams here that we want to take a little bit of a closer look at, and I think these are some teams as well that we haven't really talked about very much on the show this year. I want to start with the New Jersey Devils, who are 19-4-0 on the season, a 13-game winning streak. Joel, I don't know where you had the Devils this season. I had them as like right on the bubble of being a playoff team, one that was probably like there till the end but fall off the last couple of weeks, and I had them missing it. They're first in the league right now. A 13-game win streak will do that for you. Joel, Contender or Pretender for the New Jersey Devils?
So to answer your question where I had them, I didn't have them. Now I'm not saying they were going to suck. I just kind of had them like, yeah, they've been rebuilding. They're finally out of their rebuild phase. They're going to be frisky. I've been using that word a lot. They were going to be frisky. I certainly did not have them being first in the league. Currently, what? Tied? No, sorry, 2 points ahead of Boston. They were tied with Boston yesterday, so now they are they are solidly in first in the league now. Yeah, like you said, like they're 9-1 in their last 10. Like they're a 13-game win streak. They are 19-4. Contender or pretender? If you asked me this 3 weeks ago, I would have said pretender, but I am absolutely going contender now. This team is firing on all cylinders, and we've talked about this ad nauseum a bit. And this actually might tease something we talk about later in the show too, but we've talked about young players. And I know I've done a couple 2 minutes for roughing on this, where it's like, give these kids some some time to develop. I mentioned actually talking with Jesse last night, not every kid out of the draft is going to be a Connor McDavid putting up 100 points every season.
Straight out. We're talking about later tonight too. And on that point too, City Life Project, I see your comment here. We are going to talk about that team here in just a moment as well.
Oh yeah.
But for now, for New Jersey, let's back to you, Joel. Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And and my point being there, my method to my madness there is that you see Jack Hughes killing it and finally showing up as that first overall pick that he was. Nico Hischier is finally becoming that all-star we expected him to be as a second overall. But no, he was first overall too. Right? Or did he go second?
Hischier was...
I thought he was first.
First?
Maybe he was second. Oh, he was second behind Matthews, right?
Nico Hischier was first overall.
He was first overall.
He went one before Nolan Patrick.
No, but that's it. Right.
Yeah.
So Hischier's finally becoming the first overall pick we thought he would be. Same thing with Jack Hughes. And that's kind of my point. Like, these kids are turning into the all-stars that we thought they were going to be. And I'm sure, there were plenty of people writing them off. Hell, I was. I normally don't do that. I actually bash the people that do that. But those were two first overall picks where I was like, yeah, they're guys. They're there. They're doing stuff. They're not doing much. No, that's not true at all, man. I definitely say contender. Now, will they win the? Hi, Sam.
Sam checking in. She heard us talk about good old Nolan Patrick, and she had to chime in.
Hashtag bust. Sorry, Jesse.
Also Joey chiming in here. Contender or pretender? Kessel's Hot Dogs.
I'm
gonna go contender. That's the first team to beat me in fantasy hockey this year. That's contender.
He's found a way to beat me twice already this year too.
6-1-0, and that one loss is to Kessel's Hot Dogs. So
yeah, dude. Devils, man, they're the real deal. They're scary.
I think contender for New Jersey as well. We're finally getting to see not only the young guys as you touched on, but now Dougie Hamilton healthy in the lineup and what he brings to that group defensively. Jonas Siegenthaler, if you haven't been watching him, you have been missing out.
That name stands out.
He has really stepped up a lot this year. I'm still a little worried about the goaltending, but not nearly as much as in years past. They seem like they've got things pretty well figured out there in New Jersey. I'm going contender. New Jersey.
Now, before you move to the next team, I will throw it out there. Dare I say that the New Jersey Devils are the Florida Panthers of this year?
That brings up an interesting point,
right?
Because I think last year part of it was, Florida was blowing teams out of the water, scoring 4 goals a game. New Jersey this year, 3.78 goals per game. That's third in the league. Goals against per game at 2.22. That is the best in the league. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of that balance. But whereas Florida, I felt last year was pretty much all offense and high scoring for a lot of the season. I think it's a little more balanced for New Jersey this year. Joey as well saying, I'm guessing this Devils are for real. They'll be making a move for a difference maker at the deadline. Yeah, that's a good point too, Joey.
Yeah.
Add somebody just to kind of add a little bit of depth in there. You always got to have depth for a playoff push. And the Devils, I'm trying to get cap friendly up here. They're up against it. They're going to have to move somebody to create a little bit of cap room. And frankly, looking at this team with a lot of guys who are in contract years, Of the 13 forwards they have listed, 4 of them are fully under contract for next year. A few RFAs, few UFAs, but the only guys that they have signed beyond next year, Hughes, Heischer, Alexander Holtz, and Dawson Mercer. So when you got a lot of guys in that type of contract situation as well, what better year than now to try and go all in? Get your guys while your window is opening, kind of like to put it into some other terms, maybe like a Hawks 2010, where the window is opening up. You've got your young core in place. The window is opening, so you make a move to go get somebody like the Dougie Hamilton move is their version of the Marian Hossa signing in free agency,
right?
Bringing in somebody who is going to add to your defense and let your young guns step up. Mm-hmm. I'm in. I'm Contender on New Jersey.
Absolutely.
Next up, I want to get City Life's comment up here. So give me just a moment there. Where did that go? Dallas
wins the cup.
Book it. City Life Project all in on Dallas is winning the cup. Joel, where are you at with these Dallas Stars? First place in the Central Division, second place in the Western Conference. They're 13-6-4 on the season, 5-2-3 in their last 10. Where are you at with Dallas?
They're another surprise. We were talking about it at the beginning of the year too, where we were a little surprised, like, whoa, Dallas is off to a bit of a hot start. They're leading the Central, but that's not going to last. And that was when we were sitting at about maybe like 8 to 10 games played now, and we are sitting at around 23, 24 games played now. And lo and behold, they're still there, and they're currently 3 points in that top seed in the Central.
If you had told me that 20 games into the season, Dallas would be first in the Central and the Winnipeg Jets would be second, I would have called you a liar. I would have called you a liar to your face. I wouldn't have seen that one coming at all. Dallas has their core locked in. We got the news today that Rope Hintz signed an 8-year extension.
That's a damn good signing.
So they've got him locked up. They've got Robertson locked up for a few more years. They've got Ottinger under contract for a few more years. I mean, the pieces are – and Heiskanen as well. So they've got all of those guys inked to some longer-term deals. It'll get them through the cap situation over the next couple of years as the cap keeps going up. Dallas is in a really good spot organizationally, in a spot that, frankly, I didn't think they'd be. At this time last year, looking at Dallas, I wouldn't have thought that they were here. But they're really looking like a team that is going to hang around. Now, as far as an actual cup contender, I'm a little bit short on that, but playoff contender, absolutely. I think Dallas is a virtual lock, barring injuries at this point, for the playoffs. In a Central Division that has really kind of been topsy-turvy this year, with you could put any of the teams at the top 6, I would say, as teams that could and probably should be playoff teams. You've got the Wild, the Blues, the Predators all kind of underperforming to a degree. You've got Colorado, who slow start by their standards, but also 8-2 in their last 10. So they're coming around. They need to get
slack. They're hung over a little
comfortable a little bit.
Yeah, they're hung over. They're cup hung over, and yet they're still hanging in there
a little bit. So they'll figure it out too. Also, they're without Landeskog too, so they're just barely out of first and still 8-2-0 and no Landeskog. They'll get him back later in the year. Dallas, I'm going to go playoff contender, but I'm going to stop just short of the City Life's comment with Dallas for the cup. I do like the boldness of that prediction, though.
I'm right there with you, basically right on that take, which it's more fun when we disagree, but I can't disagree there. I say contender for Dallas. We said it too at the beginning of the year. If Dallas is going to, get back to what, everybody was hoping they would be, I didn't expect this. They're overperforming in my opinion, but they needed Ben and Sagan to somewhat lead the charge, and they're doing that. Sagan, 4 goals, 14 assists, good enough for 18 points. Jamie Benn, second on the team, 10 goals, 16 assists. Jason Robertson, of course, obviously leading the way, and he's actually leading the league in goals with 19 too. I will be honest, he was a little off my radar, and all of a sudden his name just kept popping up, and I'm like, I know that name. holy shit, this dude's the real deal.
Mhm.
I'm with you. I'm going Contender. And currently, too, this I'm sure these odds are a little different, but on that comment with book the stars to win the cup, I mean, hey, you could make a decent amount of money on that. Right now, they are currently at for Barstool Sportsbook at least. The stars are at plus 2,000 to win the cup. So, um, that's it's a fair bet. I'd toss a couple coins on that futures. It's probably not going to win, but if it does, right?
Yeah, it could be okay. Let's in
Yeah.
fact, let's see if I can get the odds up for that one here real quick. As long as I've got our sports book
right?
so that we can check for Wednesday night picks, which we're going to bring back here later in the show.
Using
What do we say?
DraftKings, right?
Team futures, yeah. Dallas right now plus 1,800.
No, so you get mine plus 2,000. So I might put it on mine if I got an extra 200 there. So plus 2,000, I might think about it.
I think Dallas's odds are only going to improve. I think plus 1,800 right now is probably that might be the best odds you're going to get.
That's a solid ticket to toss on there, right? I mean, yeah.
Next up, the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit is 4th in the Atlantic Division right now, but in playoff position. They are 11-6-4 on the year. Just a +3 goal differential, but they're ahead of some teams that you thought might be some contenders this year. They are 1 point back of Tampa Bay. They are 2 points ahead of the Florida Panthers. They're a point clear of Pittsburgh, 2 clear of the New York Rangers.
Yep.
Joel, where do you see Detroit finishing this year?
So it's so crazy. Like, you know what? It's par for the course. It's another thing. Man, you and I right now are 3 for 3 on calling things at the beginning of the season. We said these certain things had to go right for these specific teams, Dallas being one of them. I know you were talking a little more about New Jersey than I was, and now we were talking a lot about Detroit. They're out of their rebuild phase, and they're pretty. Well, they're 1 point in the lead for the wild card race in the East, but that's only 1 point behind.
Right, and we're only a quarter of the way into the season here.
Exactly. I think they're not now, and like last year, we were kind of like they're not quite there yet. They were doing hot. They were kind of hot, and we kind of knew inevitably they were going to fall out of it. They are good enough for me to stave off a lot of those other teams that are beneath them and hold off one of those 2 wild card spots in the East. That's where I see them finishing. If they squeak into that maybe 3 seed, I'm not going to tell you I'm shocked. I don't know if they do it, but I wouldn't necessarily be shocked. I'm going to say they're going to end up sitting in one of those 2 wild card spots, and they're solid enough, they're good enough to hold one of those 2 spots.
So you're going Contender.
Oh, absolutely. I know, right? I'm 3 for 3 right now on Contender. I'm absolutely on Contender on the Red Wings. Everyone is doing so hot, and I got to call it out. I mean, we know Dylan Larkin's a badass. He's got to be one of the, outside of Jonathan Taves, I think he has the making to be one of the best captains to ever grace the league. He to me has that leadership quality that like they were always talking about with Taves, or they were talking about with Crosby. Or even a Messier, right? Like he has that quality. I love Dylan Larkin.
Yeah, Larkin is phenomenal, and I think I'm pretty sure he's in a contract year this year too, so he's going to get paid.
I thought
before the year started, I had Detroit as a playoff team.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to see some signs that worry me a little bit with Detroit, to the point where I think I'm going to go pretender here. I'm very concerned about their team goals against being over 3 per game. Usually playoff teams are in at least a little bit better shape. They're at 305, and to their credit, they are scoring 3.19 per game. So it's slightly more than what they're giving up. But as I look at this team, I'm just worried about that defense. I feel like we got really, really spoiled last year with Moritz Seider and the season that he had. Of course, winning the Calder last year. He's at 11 points through 21 games.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas Raymond, 14 points through 21 games.
You know what's rough to look at for me? Dominic Kubalik being second on their team.
Being second on the team in points. Tied for the lead in goals at 9.
It's one of the few.
Philip Hronek is back, by the way. 18 points in 21 games. Tied for second on the team with 6 goals. He's back. He had a really slow go last year, but again, though, I look at this team and they're close. They're a team that is really on the rise. And they have so many good young players in their farm system to get excited about. You look at Sebastian Kosa in goal. He's going to be taking over there. They just throughout their ranks are up and coming.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this is the year. And I am kind of backtracking here because I did say that I thought they would get there. And I'm willing to admit that I may have been wrong about that. And especially I look at teams that are behind them right now, seeing the Rangers behind them in the standings, seeing the Panthers behind them in the standings. Those teams are coming up hot. They are going to make a bigger push. I look at Florida now has made it through the playoffs last couple of years, finally got the proverbial monkey off their back with a playoff series win last year. I look at the Rangers going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Detroit hasn't really been there with this group. So for me, I think down the stretch, that's going to take a bit of a toll on them as well. That experience will push those teams through and get by Detroit here. So I'm going pretender. And then our last contender or pretender, Joel, who is the second place team in the Pacific Division right now?
The Seattle Kraken.
The Seattle Kraken. What? Nobody saw them being in second.
What is happening on this earth right now?
Yeah, it's just one of those. Hockey is a weird game, man. It really is. It doesn't have to make sense.
In the best way possible.
It really is. I mean, Seattle, 3.57 goals per game, 6th in the league this year. On a goals per game pace, they are outscoring the Colorado Avalanche.
I don't get it, man.
No, nothing about it makes sense. And yet here we are.
I don't understand. I was not a hater. I was definitely on their ass last year. Like you were on them. You were like,
I thought they were going to be a playoff team last year, and
I couldn't have disagreed harder. I was like, you're smoking. They are not going to be what the Golden Knights were. They're not going to be cracking the playoffs, and that's what came to be. They were terrible, but all of a sudden, well, when you have Matty Beniers on your team, you're bound to at least do halfway decent.
He's a special player. He is very, very good.
He's so ridiculous. Like they're not to mention arguably top 5 jerseys in the league. You might disagree with me on that one, but I love their jerseys. Top 5 jersey.
I'd have to really think about where I put them, but I do love their jerseys.
Yeah,
and beyond that, like I love their broadcast team as well. Their broadcast group is
that's it right there.
Top, if not the top broadcast in the league for my money.
Easily. You know why? Eddie Olczyk. Eddie, what?
I think we lost you for a sec. You were frozen, at least on my screen.
Oh no, I'm still here.
Okay, now you're just sitting still.
Well, yeah.
No, right. Maybe not.
Should I dance? I could dance. No. Is dancing not working?
I think we got some technical difficulties going here.
I appear to be okay. Can you not hear me?
You do now. I couldn't hear you at all.
All right. Well, I don't see any lagging on my end. Anyway, Eddie Olczyk. That's the difference.
Sure. Go with that. I'm so out on Seattle as a contender. Like I said, it does not make sense that they're where they are right now. Martin Jones has played like 16 games, I think, for Seattle this year. I'm trying to get the stats up here.
Well, you get the stats
16 games. He's 11-4-2.
That's weird. What the hell, man?
Yeah.
He's such a mediocre goaltender, and all of a sudden he decides to come back to life.
Yeah, and I mean, we all thought kind of Grubauer was going to be the guy, even after a down year last year, that he was still going to be the guy. They had Joey Daccord up for a hot second here too. He played one game and picked up a win because, of course. But yeah, Martin Jones, like, no, that he's going to come back down to earth. And
here's another be patient. Right now, Shane Wright currently sitting at no goals and 1 assist with only 7 games played. But
yeah, he's been scratched a lot.
He's a rookie. But he's a 4th overall pick, so he's obviously not going to be sent back down to juniors or anything like that. Like,
well, the thing there too is they can't send him back to juniors right now. Like, he has to be up. So what they did was actually they scratched him for 5 games, which allowed them to send him to the AHL on a conditioning stint. So he can play 2 weeks in the AHL and then come back up. And he's absolutely tearing up the AHL right now. Like,
he's so good. He's just got to give him some time.
He had the talent to be the number 1 overall pick last year, and pretty much was going to be the guy until about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks before the draft.
If I were to give you a true false here question, I'm curious what you would answer.
Okay.
True or false? The Kraken are the only team in the Pacific with a plus goal differential.
Oh, wow.
True or false?
I'm going to say false because I feel like Vegas is still up there, but that division scares me a bit.
You're right.
Yeah.
I actually worded the question wrong. I was going to say outside of a playoff or outside of the top seed, obviously, outside of Vegas. But yes, outside of Vegas.
Other than Vegas, yeah, I would say probably.
That is true, yes, which is funny because that includes the Kings, the Oilers, the Flames, like Vancouver, who seems to be on a little bit of a hot streak lately. Like
HP saying, yeah, Shane Wright is going to go play World Juniors here. A little over a month.
Let him focus on that. He'll grow from that.
Jesse saying he shouldn't have played Montreal. I love that, honestly. That was funny to me. Well played, Jesse.
It's fine. I mean, it's not like Slavkovsky is, destroying the rookie class right now either, right? Like
yeah, he's that's a good question. Let me look up our rookie stats here and get you our stats leaders. I can tell
our rookie leader, topical,
Matty
Beniers with 18 points. I don't know how many goals. I haven't looked at that.
But yeah, seven goals and 11 assists for Beniers. Matthias Michelli, who is my fantasy keeper league pickup.
Why does that sound like an Italian dessert?
Damn it, Joel. Juraj Slavkovsky, 3 goals and 2 assists on the season through 16 games, averaging 10 minutes and 58 seconds of ice time a night.
How many games played?
16.
Almost, actually, double Shane Wright.
So he's behind a couple of other Montreal rookies.
See, and that's the thing.
Caden Dooley and Arbor Jakai.
Yeah, he's double the amount of games played for Shane Wright, but he's only got 4 more points. So
yeah,
whatever.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I like Slavkovsky a lot.
Oh, I'm not trying to bash
I'm admittedly surprised that he started the season with Montreal. I thought he might play one more season in Europe and then come over.
When you're first overall, it doesn't really usually happen that way.
It's very rare that a first overall pick doesn't play in the NHL their first season. And that kind of brings us to our next point here.
By the way, Pretender.
I'm
voting Seattle Pretender. That's my only Pretender of our list there.
Okay. We're in agreement on that one too. Yeah. 2001 birth years have kind of struggled to catch on with their NHL teams. I mean, we just saw it with Marco Rossi being sent back down to Iowa. Nick Robertson, who is with Toronto, is kind of struggling to get ice time and keep ice time when he does have it. But I think this kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier, that players who are taken in the first round are starting to be seen as failures if they're not playing top 6 minutes by draft year +2. And that's a really scary thought for players to be in.
It goes, God, I'm going to sound like I'm an old man here. But technically, if people are 21 now when they were born in 2001, I guess you and I are pretty old at this point. I'm only 28 for the record, by the way, whoever thinks I'm older than that.
It's a weird feeling.
You're 30.
when it hit me last season, or well, I guess this season, that officially all of the boys who are on our team this year were born after 9/11. Like, not even just that they don't remember it, but they were all born after 9/11. That was like a whoa moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
But at the risk of sounding like a crusty old man at 28, which is weird.
Yeah, you old fart.
Shut up. Drink your water. You got Metamucil in that glass?
No.
Good. Yeah. At the risk of sounding old, I'm going to stick to this. And there's probably so many people that'll agree with this versus not. It's just it's the sports specific society. That's a big alliteration right there. It's a sports specific society we live in nowadays. There's just so much lack of patience in every sport, not just hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Every single sport, whether it's a coach, we talked about that, but with players, if you're drafted in the first round, hell, sometimes even early second round, sometimes now too, which is even crazier. If you aren't putting up not all-star numbers, but if you aren't like pushing for an all-star spot, you're a bust. Maybe I'll give you one more year, but that's it. Then I'm giving up on you and I'm going to ship you out of my town. Get off my team. It's such a shit take. You need to have patience with these kids. Like, these kids are, I don't even care if this is insulting myself too, along with other people, but I also don't bash the kids when they're not performing right off the bat. These kids at 21 are doing way fucking more than you've been doing. You did at 21, not you personally, but like the people that are bashing them. So get off the back. Like, they will get there.
Joel, I'm going to ask you a question just to use a different example here.
Okay.
Who do you consider to be the top quarterback in the NFL right now?
In the NFL right now?
Yeah.
Probably Josh Allen.
Even over, say, Patrick Mahomes?
I'd probably put them tied, but if we're just going off this season alone.
No, I'm just going, yeah.
I'd probably give me it's a cop out. It's got to be a tie for me between Mahomes and
let's
Josh Allen.
assume that you had said Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
How many games do you think Patrick Mahomes played in the year that he was drafted, his first season in the NFL?
Goose egg.
You're close. He played one.
Oh, he did play one.
He played one. Yeah, and it looked like he wasn't going to play any.
Wasn't it? It was week 16. That was before they jumped to 17, right? Was that because they clinched the playoffs and they decided to toss him?
Yeah, so it was the final week, that week 17 game. Played most of the game.
Yep.
22 of 35 passes, 284 yards, 1 interception. But the Chiefs got the win. But he sat almost the entire season to that point as a first-round quarterback.
Yeah, and I mean, a similar, not sitting, but like a similar thing we're talking about, struggling rookies. Josh Allen was pretty mid his first 2 years. He gave you flashes, but they were few and far between. And now all of a sudden, like I just said, he's up there in the top 3 quarterbacks of the league.
Yeah.
You got to give these guys time.
Give these guys patience and time. And especially the fact that we haven't even started to cover this yet is COVID and the role COVID played in all of this, where players either lost time during their draft year or their draft plus 1 year basically wiped out due to the pandemic and how few games were actually played at those levels. These guys are still kind of playing catch up. I look at Marco Rossi, who had COVID and developed myocarditis afterward that kept him from playing hockey for a year. And again, in that being his draft plus 1 year, he missed that entire season.
He's an athlete. He should be able to. I'm joking.
So then through that, like last season with the Iowa Wild, like played well, but again, he's still getting his footing here. That's a lot of time, and at a key point in a player's development to be missing time as well. It really puts all of these guys kind of in a weird spot and in a bind. And I think that's part of why we're seeing this. And somebody on Twitter here, Kevin Papetti, I hope I'm saying that name right here. Alex Turcotte, 5. These are all players who are 0-1 birth years and have kind of struggled to
good example
to make the NHL lineup. Alex Turcotte, 5 games. Philip Broberg, 8 games. Victor Soderstrom, 11. Cam York, 14. Billy Heinle, 20. Philip Tomasino, 24. Connor McMichael, 25. Jacob Pelletier, 26. Like, it's not like these guys are blowing the doors off everybody across that birth year. Like, everybody is struggling, which tells me it's not the players. The players aren't the problem. The circumstances around the players, that's the bigger issue to me.
No,
like, I'm with you. People need to calm down.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, the other thing too is you're right that sometimes the system around them. We had it here, Kirby Dach, 3rd overall pick, and his growth was stunted by an incompetent dumbass of a coach in Jeremy Colleton. But
well,
so what do you think's going to happen? He's not going to develop at the rate he should be. His confidence was taking hits. He probably should not have even played that his rookie year. He should have gone down to the juniors, or he should have at least been stuck down in Rockford and gotten his confidence up by tearing that league apart and then coming up. But no, with all the egos we had running our team at that time, he had to be up. He was 3rd overall. He needs to be good and ready right now. Growth was stunted. He showed flashes in the pan for sure. And now, and we trade him. I'm not disagreeing with the trade. We needed the draft capital, but look at him now in Montreal.
Yeah. And not only that, but it wasn't like Chicago was trading him because he was bad. It was they traded him because they needed the draft help, knowing that they're going to be in a couple years of rebuild and being able to look at it and say, hey, we can get 13 and 66 here in the trade and move our guy who kind of needs a fresh start. And the fan base is starting to turn on him a bit here. Like, yeah, let's.
Oh, don't get me started on the goddamn fan base.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's it. That's it. You could do a 5 for roughing on that one. I probably have at some point, too. We got to keep things moving here. We got to get on to our Wednesday night picks. So our last go, Joel, you had a bit of a rough week there. Went 1-3, dipped below 500 on the season. I had a nice little 3-1 go, and now potentially, depending how things shake out this week, I could take back the all-time lead on the board there. You'll may still have on win percentage because I've done a couple more weeks, but taking back that win spot, I'm coming for you, man.
Look, man, the league has been a whirlwind of what the fuck moments for me. Like, I'm just like, yeah, no, they got it. Oh, okay. No, that like every team has just been like just coming out of the woodwork. I bet against or was it again? No, I bet with the Maple Leafs, and they, of course, decide to suck, and now they're on a hot streak. So I guarantee you, if I decided to go with them, they're going to go back on a cold streak. Like,
well, guess what? They're one of our games for tomorrow.
Yes, so I know they are. I know they are.
Well, let's start with the New York Rangers -125 at the Ottawa Senators +105. Joel, who you got in that one?
I mean, Ottawa is not what we thought. I thought we both thought they were going to be playoff contenders, and they are in the Atlantic basement. So
they aren't who we thought they were.
Imposter. No. Pretender. No, I'm joking.
For sure, pretender.
I mean, it's kind of funny. Their goal differential is only -5. Like, that's not that bad for a last place in the division team. And, you expect a lot worse.
I think it's weird that the Hawks send your boy Alex DeBrincat to Ottawa, and everybody's like, oh, okay, Ottawa's going to be a playoff team now, and Ottawa's behind Chicago in the standings.
I know. It's crazy. And I mean,
knowing the Hawks were in blow it up rebuild year.
Exactly. You're also forgetting they then signed Claude Giroux.
Yeah, that too.
it's nuts. And DeBrincat is, what is he? He's 4th on the team in points, 6 goals, 11 assists. And maybe there is an argument to be made that when you don't have Patrick Kane on your line, things change. But I still love the kid. But man, this is this is just money line, right?
Yeah, this is strictly money line.
Oh, I read that wrong. Oh, this is easy. Yeah, Rangers. I mean, the Rangers all day. I thought it was puck line for a second. That's why I had to hesitate for a hot minute, but no.
No, I know it's a straight up pick here. Yeah, I don't know. Something is weird with the Rangers.
Yes.
4-5-1 in their last 10 on a 3-game losing streak. Goal differential only +2 at this point. After the hot start that they got off to as well, we were like, whoa, Rangers for the East here. That's kind of scaled back a little bit. Ottawa, they're cellar dwellers this year, but they're riding a 2-game win streak. I'm going to go a little different here. I'm going to take Ottawa at home. I love a good home dog. We talked about that for the bit before. Home underdogs, we like them. It's close. I'm going to go Ottawa here.
I don't blame you. Nah, I don't blame you. I mean, they've been, I really thought that the Rangers were just going to be a juggernaut this year. And that just does not come to be. And even Igor's only posting up a 9-1. Bad for him.
Last night, I think it was let up 4 goals in a loss or something like that. And they were asking about it post game, and he said something like, the goalie was terrible tonight. I'm so embarrassed. But like, outright was like the goalie was terrible, but then backed it up by saying I'm embarrassed. Like it was very in character. I'm messing up the quote here, so I'm just going to steer us out of the next one.
And before we move on, I mean, we can close on the note that it's worth mentioning that now that you guys traded for Ryan Reeves, it's pretty much open season on the Rangers.
Yeah, Tom Wilson has been out for the Caps for a while, so Rangers are like, I guess we don't need Reeves after all. Moving on. San Jose Sharks +1.5 goals at +105. At the Toronto Maple Leafs -1.5 goals at -125. Joel, the Maple Leafs are such a head case when it comes to Wednesday night picks.
I know.
It
stresses me out more than it should.
I can feel that frustration.
The friggin' Maple Leafs stress out a Blackhawks fan way more than they should.
Yeah.
I mean, the Maple Leafs are hot right now. I can't deny that. So hot right now. 7-1-2 in their last 10. They're on a 4-game win streak. They still, again, that offense is still showing up. They still have a +12 goal differential. Just casually behind Boston with the +38, but we're not talking about Boston.
Yeah, Boston's kind of cruising.
We apologized already. We gave them their flowers.
No, we did, and then they kind of turned around and spit on our face with the whole Mitchell Miller thing the week after. Not even the week after. It's like 3 days after.
Exactly.
So, whatever.
As much as I know the Maple Leafs are probably going to spit in my face, I am going to take them on the puck line. The Sharks are, the Sharks are the Sharks. They're towards the bottom. If not for Anaheim, they would be at the bottom. Like we expected. I'll ride the hot hand, and I'm sure the hot hand will smack me in the face for doing that, but I'm going to ride the hot hand and take the Maple Leafs.
Over or under 1.5 times that Matt Murray kicks the net off?
I mean, based on the offensive power that Toronto has,
you'll take the under?
I'll take the
under. Beat the other.
Yeah, I'll take the under. Normally, though, I would be with you. I would definitely be taking the over. If they're playing anybody else with a little bit hotter of an offense, I might.
Yeah, 3 times against Minnesota. Not that we're counting, not that we're bitter. I am going to go Sharks +1.5 here. Again, I don't know why, but Toronto on a Wednesday night, especially like looking at the money line here, this alone, the Leafs are -300 on the money line for tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the Sharks. Based on that alone, nobody chokes away games that they really should win, like the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You're right. And
I'm
that's
going
why
Sharks.
that's why me taking the quote unquote safe pick, I'm they're gonna make me regret it. But whatever.
We talked about Detroit earlier in the show. They are at home tomorrow night, minus 135 against the Buffalo Sabres, plus 115. Joel, who you got in this one? Just straight up.
Man, it's tough. Friggin' you had Buffalo pretty much taking Tampa to the brink last night.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see Tage Thompson's goal, by the way?
Tage Thompson, he very well might be in like an MVP finalist at the end of the year. Like he'll be up for the Lindsay. You know, he may well be in the Ross race as well. I mean, McDavid's probably going to win that again, but yeah, he's so good. And that Buffalo got him locked up to a long-term deal. And everybody's like, what? Why? He hasn't earned that yet. He is earning it this year. He is really, really playing well. He had like a 6-point game the other week too.
Yeah. I'm going to let you go first on this one. I need to think about it for a minute.
Man, I've gone underdog on the first 2 picks. I'll go Buffalo here. It's a weird season. Buffalo has, despite how good Thompson has been, like Buffalo still has a +2 goal differential, and they've lost 8 of their last 10 games. They're 9-12-1 on the year, and they've scored 81 goals, the second most in the division. I'm looking at a Red Wings team that has just kind of been all over the place. Didn't they just have a injury there too that look up here. Give me just a moment. Shout out Puckpedia for being all over the injury report here. No, I guess not. It must have been somebody else that I saw. I'm still going Buffalo here. I like what they're doing offensively right now. And even though the rest of it hasn't quite come together and translated into wins, they're 7th in the division with a positive goal differential. That tells me that they're playing close games. I think they can take Detroit here.
We're going to agree. Before you even said anything, I was leaning Buffalo. I just needed to take some time to gather the thoughts. If for nothing else, I suggest you let that one marinate. If for nothing else, you kind of said it. It's been a very weird season. And usually when I pick one of those favorites, it does not work out so well. And I've already done it twice. I'm feeling Buffalo. I don't know what it is outside of it being a weird season and recency bias of what they, how they played Tampa last night. So.
And then our final game of the night, the Edmonton Oilers -1.5 goals, +110 at Joel's Chicago Blackhawks, +1.5 goals at home. They're -130. Joel, where are you going in this one?
God, we're
before you even make your pick, is it fair to say hammer the over?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Absolutely, because we're usually good for at least 3 goals, somewhat. Obviously, the last 2 games that has really not come to fruition. But oh yeah, I didn't even talk about going to Hosa's number retirement game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a blast. Lost the game, but that's all right. That's fine. I mean, there it is. We are in the basement of the Central. Third to last in the league. That's how you suck hard for Bedard. We weren't doing that too well at the beginning of the season. It's for a little while, I would have probably taken the Hawks to cover at least, just because they were losing the games, but they were in them and they were close. And we do play Edmonton very well for the most part. And Seth Jones coming back has actually made a difference. But with all that said, especially based on how we've done lately, I mean, a 7-2 loss to Winnipeg. There was a 6-1 loss to Boston in there. We're letting up the goals like they're nothing. I'm sorry, boys, but give me the Oilers -1.5.
Yeah, I'm going Oilers here too.
It's the two best offensive players in the league, in the world, against a very rattled goaltender core, let alone the rest of the team. But
Stalock is still out, right?
Stalock is still out. Mrazek is trash. And Soderblom, while some people were hopeful he could be potentially one of the futures, that's wrong. It's still, to me, going to be Comesso at some point in time here. But
I'm with you on Comesso for sure. But
yeah,
he's
that's
still a
still
few years off yet.
Yeah, give him the Corey Crawford treatment. Let him figure it out first and then come up. But Soderblom looked, oh God, he looked terrible in the shootout to Montreal. My God, 3 for 3 or 0 for 3. Yeah, no, both goaltenders are terrible. I hope we start Mrazek because, as I said in a tweet not too long ago, that is what's best for Bedard.
Yeah, so here we go. So to recap the picks here, we're both taking Edmonton -1.5. We are both taking Buffalo on the money line +115. We're split on this one. I'm taking Sharks +1.5. Joel's taking Toronto -1.5. And then Joel is taking the Rangers on the money line. I am taking the Ottawa Senators. Joel, it is that time to close out the show with our favorite segment, 2 minutes for roughing. You've got it this week. Did you prepare anything? Or are you just going completely off the cuff here?
Going off the cuff. We've kind of teased it too. By the way, did you say we were the same on the first two picks? Because we were different on the first two picks.
No, I said we were different on the first two picks.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, I said Rangers.
You
You took the Rangers. I took the Senators.
Oh, okay.
You took Toronto. I took San Jose. But then these last two we were the same. We both took Buffalo.
Never mind.
Took Edmonton. So yeah, 2 minutes for roughing.
I'm good.
Okay, I'll count you in here. 3, 2, 1, go.
I teased it earlier. The Hawks recently played Montreal, and Kirby Dach revenge game, and he ended up, of course, you couldn't write a better script. He ended the shootout, or ended it in the shootout with a pretty beautiful just snapshot. It was that thing was a howitzer of a snapper. I got to tell you. But what really pissed me off was the fact that, and the reason it went so viral too, was because his goal, Celly, after finishing it, exactly doing the Patrick Kane, Austin Matthews thing. And I loved it because you could hear the boos. What the fuck, Chicago? Like, what? Why are you booing Kirby Dach? Like, he worked his ass off in his 3 seasons here. He basically was your MVP in the bubble playoffs before we got knocked out by Vegas very easily. But he was definitely your MVP in that playoffs for us. And the kid worked his ass off. The kid had an absolutely jack shit of a coach stunt his growth. I will always give my shots at Jeremy Colleton because he sucks. And he screwed over Kirby Dach's growth, at least in the Blackhawk system. I think he would have been much better under Luke Richardson. I'm not mad about the trade. We needed to do it. We needed the trade. We needed the trade assets. What the hell are you doing booing this kid? He didn't want to be traded. He didn't ask to be traded. He didn't have a contract battle. He never said a damn bad thing about Chicago. He loved it here, and we needed to trade him. What the hell are you booing this kid for? Like, look, I love my fan base, but we are packed with a lot of fans that need to figure their shit out and get it together.
Yeah, I was wondering if that's where you were going to go on the show tonight. I absolutely loved it. I thought that was a rock star move as a Celly. And
it's against my team, and I'm like, hell yeah, Kirby. Fucking give it to him. Seriously. I loved it.
Yeah, it had to feel good for him, too. Like, you scored the goal against your former club.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, it was a bitter move or anything. Like, I don't think, at least in hearing about it, like
he's not gracious in the
constantly like bashing Chicago or anything like that. Like he left on decent terms as far as I can tell. And like you said, he didn't ask for a trade. So like there's really no reason for Hawks fans to boo him. Are they going to boo Panarin when he comes back and plays? Are they going to boo him, or are they going to boo DeBrincat when he comes back and plays, DeBrincat didn't ask for a trade.
They better not. I will raise hell if I decide to get tickets to DeBrincat's return to Chicago and I hear anybody booing. No.
Please make sure you just get tickets near the glass so that after your fight you can headbutt the glass and knock yourself out.
Why?
Did you not see that video?
I didn't know.
Oh boy. Okay.
I was like, I need some context for that.
Once we end the show, I'll have to send you that one. But yeah, there's a fight in the stands at some game, and after the fight was like broken up, the guy was like beaking and chirping at the other guy, and just decided to like wind up and headbutt the glass like with the side of his head, knocked himself out. Stay classy.
America.
Yeah. That is it for tonight's show. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. As a reminder, we are live Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. You can find us on demand as well on YouTube. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Spotify Wrapped is coming out soon, so hoping we might make some Spotify Wraps for a few people. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and follow on Twitter at PodSnipeCelly and on Facebook. You can search there with the same name. Thank you to Noop Sports and the Sports 2.0 Network for giving us a platform for the show every week. We absolutely love that we're in year 2 of the PodSnipeCelly project, and it is just phenomenal. But that's it for tonight's episode. Catch us next week. For Joel, for the Cup. That's the end of tonight's show. I'm Dan Bradley. Enjoy your night, everybody.
Yeah. Goodbye.